Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into what is honestly one of the most mind-blowing stories in modern business history. We are looking at the dramatic contrast between a corporate titan's peak wealth and the massive multi-front legal battles he's fighting today. It's this incredible story of ambition, high-stakes leverage, and the harsh realities of corporate law. We'll be using some incredibly detailed sources, like financial reports, enforcement directorate investigations, and actual court tribunal documents, to map out exactly what happened.
Okay, so let's dive right in. $42 billion. Just try to wrap your head around that scale of wealth for a second. Back in 2008, that was the staggering net worth commanded by Anil Ambani. His name dominated global business headlines, and investors truly believed in his vision to completely redefine India's telecom and energy landscapes.
But to really get the gravity of this whole thing, we've got to look at this crazy contrast. In 2008, right after the massive initial public offering of Reliance Power in a booming stock market, he was literally the sixth richest person on the planet. Fast forward to 2020, the narrative changes completely. Standing in a UK court facing immense pressure from international creditors, he declared that his net worth was essentially zero. He claimed he had no meaningful assets. So, how exactly does $42 billion just vanish?
Section 1. Peak wealth to zero.
To figure out how that money disappeared, let's just walk through the timeline. It all kicks off in 2005 with that famous division of the Reliance empire. Anil takes over the high-growth stuff, telecom, infrastructure, power, forming the Reliance ADA group. By 2008, boom, he hits that peak wealth of $42 billion. But then, the cracks really start showing. By 2017, his flagship telecom company, Arcom, starts defaulting on its loans. The pressure just keeps mounting until that 2020 zero wealth declaration. And honestly, by 2024, the structural collapse was so complete that Anil and his son actually stepped down from their roles as promoters in Reliance Power and Reliance Infrastructure, essentially handing management over to independent teams.
Section 2. Empire built on debt.
Now, what's wild about this is the sheer complexity and really the fragmentation of his portfolio. When you look at the investment data, it isn't just a couple of massive companies. Sure, you've got the capital-intensive heavy hitters like Reliance Power and BSES, Rajdhani in infra, and Reliance Capital in finance. But then, there are over 100 micro-stakes scattered across totally different industries. We're talking everything from a minority piece of a tech startup like Paytm Mall to Brandon Logistics and healthcare ventures. Managing a sprawling web like that, it takes massive liquidity. And to fund all this rapid, diversified expansion, the group relied heavily, and I mean heavily, on relentless borrowing.
And well, here's where the math simply stopped working. You see, this aggressive borrowing strategy required huge, constant cash flows just to pay the interest. But the market shifted, and it shifted hard. The fatal blow? That happened in telecom. When fierce, deep-pocketed new rivals, specifically Jio, crashed the market, telecom prices plummeted. RCOM couldn't compete, revenues fell off a cliff, and suddenly a debt load that had ballooned over $7 billion became totally unsustainable. That's when the corporate dominoes really started to fall.
Section 3. The money laundering probe.
Okay, let's map out the allegations exactly as the enforcement directorate lays them out. Let's follow the money to understand the mechanics of this alleged 40,000 crore rupee bank fraud. Step 1. Between 2017 and 2019, Yes Bank pumps nearly 5,000 crore rupees into Ambani's finance arms. Step 2. The ED alleges these public funds, along with money from Reliance Nippon Mutual Fund, were quietly routed through Yes Bank to dodge SEBI regulations. Step 3. The probe claims a massive 13,600 crore rupees went toward evergreening loans. Basically, that means taking out new loans just to pay off the old bad ones to make the books look healthy. Oh, and another 12,600 crore was allegedly shifted to related parties.
Because of how severe these allegations are, the ED has been incredibly aggressive about freezing assets, and the scale is just immense. In a recent move, they attached fresh assets worth 1,885 crore rupees. That brings the total value of assets attached by the ED so far in this case to a staggering 12,000 crore rupees. They are systematically locking down whatever value is left in the network.
And keep in mind, these aren't just abstract numbers on a spreadsheet. We're talking highly tangible, premium assets here. They've actually attached his Mumbai residence, which is valued at over 3,500 crore rupees. They've seized crucial shares in power distributors BSC Yamuna and Rajdhani Power, plus Mumbai Metro 1. The probe even stretches globally. The ED actually arrested a close aide of Ambani after finding a 70 crore rupee apartment in Manhattan, New York, which the agency claims was bought using the proceeds of these laundered bank loans.
Section 4. The personal guarantor trap.
So while the criminal investigations are playing out, there's another devastating legal trap snapping shut on the civil side. The crucial point here is understanding what a personal guarantor actually is. It's an individual who legally promises to repay a borrower's debt if the borrower defaults, risking their own personal assets. Back in 2016, when Arcom and Reliance Infratel took out loans from SBI, totaling around 1,200 crore rupees, Anil Ambani signed a personal guarantee deed. He essentially put his own personal wealth on the line if his companies failed to pay.
But you might be wondering, why did SBI suddenly rush to the National Company Law Tribunal in 2020 to invoke this guarantee? Well, look at this legal race. On one side, SBI is owed over 1,200 crore rupees. But on the other side, 3 Chinese banks sued Ambani in a UK court over a totally separate personal guarantee. And get this, the UK judge actually ordered Ambani to pay them $717 million, which was over 5,400 crore rupees at the time, within 21 days. SBI was terrified. They realized that if those Chinese banks executed that UK judgment, they could swoop in and seize Ambani's personal assets globally and in India before SBI saw a single rupee. So, SBI had to act really fast to lock him down.
Now, Ambani's legal team tried to fight this. They argued that since the companies, Arcom and RITL, were already in a corporate insolvency process, meaning their assets were actively being sold off to pay debts, the bank shouldn't be allowed to target his personal assets at the exact same time. But the tribunal completely disagreed, and this brilliantly shows the strict reality of financial law. The NCLT Mumbai bench noted, drawing on Supreme Court precedent, the fact that the company has gone into liquidation would not have any effect on the liability of the guarantor. Simply put, you sign the guarantee, you carry the risk. It doesn't matter what's happening to the company itself.
So, why does this matter to us, and what's the big takeaway here? Well, it really highlights the incredible power of India's insolvency and bankruptcy code. By filing this petition, SBI triggered what's called an interim moratorium. Instantly, all other legal actions against his debt are put on hold, and his personal assets are effectively frozen pending the resolution process. It means that previously untouchable billionaire wealth can legally be cornered. It turns a corporate failure into a total personal lockdown, essentially blocking foreign banks from swooping in and grabbing those assets first.
Which brings us to this really fascinating precipice. Between the enforcement directorate seizing thousands of crores for alleged fraud and civil courts freezing his estate to pay back bank loans, the walls have completely closed in. But it leaves us with this lingering, provocative question. Can these powerful personal bankruptcy laws truly dismantle the remnants of a billionaire's empire to make the public banks whole? Or, by the time the courts finally pierce that corporate veil, is the wealth already gone? It's a gripping lesson in corporate leverage, for sure. Anyway, thanks for joining me on this explainer, and always remember to keep questioning the numbers behind the headlines.